Hi, good evening. This is Rich Urban with a special edition of the Richard Urban Show coming to you from historic Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. Well, this is about YouTube's super crazy far left gun control agenda. So today I was watching the service from the Unification Sanctuary in Newfoundland, Pennsylvania live, and then they were playing this video from HBO Vice about this school, New Life Christian Academy, I believe is the correct name, in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and bam, right in the middle when they're showing the video about the school and how they're, the teachers they do drills for active shooters, and some of the teachers are armed, they have armed security, and they train the older students to be warriors, to be part of the security team. Then they say YouTube has suspended this video for violation of content. I'm like, what the heck? I mean, how crazy, man, is that? So I've heard like YouTube is trying to, or is already suspending all the people who talk about like the different gun-related channels. That's insane. So pretty soon, here's my prediction: YouTube's going to collapse and we'll be on some other thing. Maybe they should just change the name to BoobTube, the old affection name for the TV. BoobTube. Okay, so this is just a wonderful video. And if schools did this, then, there'd be a lot safer environment. This is a much more common sense approach to security than having kids run and hide under the desks and do nothing, So I'd like to show this video. And, of course, the credit is to HBO Vice. And I'll put the link below. But, so, I'm just so incredibly, kind of ticked off for just how lunatic YouTube is, and they've hired 10,000 people from the Southern Poverty Law Center, which basically any Christian group or people like that, like Family Research Council, they branded as a hate group. I think they were forced, or not, basically forced to remove that. But many different groups, like the church that I attend, Newfoundland Sanctuary, is a hate group, basically because they don't agree with what they're saying. I mean, this is a lunacy. But anyway, watch this video, and we can learn a lot from it. And I applaud the principal there, and the superintendent, the husband-wife team, and the students. So enjoy, and this special edition of the Vision Root video blog.
Live fire run, eyes and ears, everybody ready?
Who would think that I would have a gun? I'm dressed up, pearls on,
Right.
minding my business, and you come to get me. Oh, here, take my purse, please. Take everything that's in it.
Whoop.
And then they're dead meat. Okay?
Lily Allen is the principal of New Life Baptist Academy, a church school in Albuquerque with 250 students, 20 teachers, and at least 5 loaded handguns divvied up between them.
I know there are many, many parents that they're so against anything that's violent. But come into the real world. There's violence here. Okay, who's doing pledges today? Come on, Eric. Look at those teachers that lost their lives. What if they had a weapon? They could have protected themselves and more of those little kids. After Newtown, they realize now it can happen anywhere, but how are we going to prevent it? So that's why we're training our kids.
So every student at New Life, from kindergartners all the way up to seniors, do active shooter training. It's basically like a drop and cover drill. Just instead of preparing for a storm or nuclear war, they're getting ready for an armed maniac coming into their doors.
Okay, guys, remember when you're under the pew, you cannot stick your head out to be nosy, because that's called nosy Rosie. If you do, the bad guy will get you, and we don't want him to, correct? So I'm more concerned about my younger ones on that. Bad guy's coming.
kids are extraordinarily well trained for a bunch of high schoolers in hoodies. My response in high school probably would have just been to like go feed them.
Little people, I need for you to stop talking when you're underneath the pew. That will let the bad guy know where you are if you continue talking. Understood? Okie dokie.
You guys are getting ready to die if you're not paying any attention. Do we understand? Remember, it's always discipline. Always discipline, yes? Let's give ourselves a hand, please.
How long has this school been here, actually?
This school has been here for 12 years.
12. Mm-hmm. Okay. And, I mean, the church's been around since the 80s.
Yes,
right? Oh, okay.
the church has been here since the 80s.
Was it always a plan to start a school with it, or?
It was my husband's plan.
Careful getting out, babe.
Okay.
With this being a private school, I have a lot more flexibility and leeway than, let's say, a public school. But as a pastor and a school superintendent, I've been carrying a gun since I left the state police in 1977. So I'm always armed. That's my job.
Lily met her husband in the 60s while he was still a New Mexico State police officer. After the death of their daughter, he found Jesus, became a preacher, and started New Life Baptist. Despite leaving the force, Pastor Allen never quit being a cop and still runs his church and school with a very coply mindset. And sidearm.
Is that an actual Bible case?
And so you're going to get a laugh out of this. The church bought that for me.
Oh, really?
But that's a 45 Smith & Wesson. I love it. So then if I need it, what the pistol packing pastor does is he charges his weapon, jam the magazine. Notice I didn't treat it gently. So he closed it, make sure it's tight. Now it's ready to fire. It's hot.
Since Newtown and the other shootings that have
Bunch.
happened, a lot of it seems to kind of confirm what you guys were doing before. Is there anything that you guys learned that kind of surprised you?
11 years ago, everybody thought I was nuts. And this isn't to be bragging, and now everybody's saying, "Oh, that guy was a visionary." No, you can see evil coming. I'm not carrying guns, doing security and all just to be a tough guy. The reason why we're armed is you see what's happening out there. I'm not paranoid. I'm ready.
So in addition to the kind of regular active shooter training, which everybody at the school has to go through, there's a program the pastor started where he hand selects a group of upperclassmen, which he calls the Pastor's Warriors, and they get like basically a tactical cop training, and they do this once a week in PE class in lieu of like, you know, climbing ropes or playing dodgeball.
Remember now, these are not toys. We're not playing. We're actually practicing, yes? Okay, so let me have 3 lines facing this way, please, quickly.
Is a student who doesn't do the training allowed to be here as a student?
The students have to go through the training. That'd be like a student saying they don't want to do a fire drill. You have to do fire drills or you burn. I'm not saying that they have to agree with our gun policy or like guns, but their lack of response would jeopardize the safety of all of my other students.
Many, many times, people that are at the facility are going to deal with the active shooter before the police get there. If we have to fight, we have to know what to do.
See, there's a bunch of stuff I can do here. I have him here, boom, right in the forehead, right on top of his foot, broken. Ah! Good.
An active shooter will keep killing people until they're out of ammunition. But we're not going to sit there and let them just murder us.
See this finger? Bend it, twist it, bite it, whatever. Keep it off this trigger. Do not quit.
Might seem a little bit extreme for teenagers to be doing that, but at the same time, like what good did laps or push-ups ever do me?
You can eye gouge him, you can bite his ear.
Does it make you nervous doing this kind of stuff? Like, do you like feel like you think a little bit more about like gun violence?
At first I was nervous. I didn't want to be one, but then since I learned, it makes you feel safer, like knowing what to do if you're in a situation like that.
Bang, 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 bang.
Imagine a whole classroom that could have attacked this boy, and many would not have been killed. Because if you have a group of kids that are going to attack, you can't kill them all at one time.
Bang, 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 bang.
Okay, good.
Look, this is America, and this is a private school, and people can do whatever they're going to do in a private school. But what I see the pastor doing is creating a false sense of security.
Randy Weingarten heads the American Federation of Teachers, the second largest teachers union in America.
They're training kids to actually be vigilantes.
Jamming his eye out.
At the end of the day, you cannot substitute for the years of training that armed police officers get. They just can't substitute for that.
There you go. Let's give you guys a hand.
Come on, let's go. Hold up. New life on 3. 1, 2, 3. New life! There you go.
While the efficacy of the Pastor's Warriors training may be questionable, the kids' swarm and yank strategy is more of a failsafe. The school's first line of defense is its armed security and equally armed faculty.
So these are the teachers. This
Yes.
is the faculty wall. Which of these fine people is armed?
There's about 4 of them on there that's armed. But if I tell you, then everyone's going to know who they are. And we don't want anyone to know.
Do they have a background that involves firearms? Or?
They have quite a bit of training. And a number of them come from their maybe policemen wives, or they've been in law enforcement themselves. Parents can play guesswork, and we don't mind, because they'll never know which teacher has it.
Okay.
But I will always carry my gun with me. And that's for the protection of their child, because they're worth it.
We're at a shooting range outside Albuquerque. Pastor and his security team taking us up here to do a few training drills. We're all gonna go through the ropes and put some rounds in some paper bad guys. Fire!
Lily and the pastor asked their teachers to undergo upwards of 6 months training before they can carry a gun at school.
You ready to fire?
Yes.
Pull the trigger straight back to the rear.
This is well past the 18 hours required for a concealed carry permit under New Mexico law, but it's still just basic range training and gun familiarization, all carried out in a safe, controlled environment.
Make your weapon safe and holster!
Which, it goes without saying, is a very far cry from the lawless, panic-charged environment of an active school shooting.
Do a reload?
Did you have to shoot him? Yes. Did you shoot to kill him? No. Always to stop the action. 2 to the body, 1 to the head. If he keeps coming at you, 1 to the groin.
In discussing the issue of arming teachers, in many respects it's like a Rubik's Cube. Every time you turn it, you come up with different dilemmas.
William Bratton chiefed the police forces for New York, Boston, and Los Angeles during each of their worst crime years, and is widely credited for making them the livable cities they are today.
Studies have conclusively shown that in moments of high drama, that the accuracy rate of even a skilled shooter declines dramatically. On average, less than 1/3 of police-fired rounds hit the intended target, and they are ostensibly the best trained in America at the moment.
Do you ever worry that, even with all the training in like a real situation, faced with a threat, like your adrenaline could kind of overpower your senses? Like, is that ever a concern?
No, because adrenaline, boy, can make you do things you've never done before. And especially as a mother protecting a child. So there's a
Instincts
difference.
will guide your hand.
You bet instincts will guide your hand when you're going after someone's child.
Kindergarten, line up!
From a rational perspective, what New Life is doing is probably severe overkill. The odds of dying in a school shooting are infinitesimal, just shy of being struck by lightning. Unfortunately, the debate over guns and school safety isn't governed by rational perspectives. And thanks to the media's emotional, over-the-top coverage of shootings when they do occur, what's weird about New Life now could easily become the new normal.
I think that what's happened is that the Newtown tragedy has affected everyone. By and large, we don't have intruders running into schools. By and large, schools are some of the safest places in America. Teachers have said they don't want schools to be like that. They don't want to have a situation where all of a sudden teachers are wearing pistols on their hips.
Being quite frank with you, I think it's a waste of time. I'd much rather my kids being trained on reading, writing, and arithmetic. Parents that want their kids to be miniature Rambos, good luck to them. Send them to that school.
If a person steps in here now and starts shooting, if one of us don't tackle him, we're all gonna die.
Hey, let go! I'm gonna hurt you. I'm gonna kill you. Let me go.
What we try to tell our kids is, okay, if you're gonna die, you may as well die fighting.
Violence isn't going away. And I know a number of people will disagree with us, but that's something we're going to do regardless if we're criticized or not. We will protect their children.